Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.
Hello everyone, so welcome back again for us to continue on with Rail Safety Week, which is day 2. So I just want to say another thank you to all the speakers that we have heard from so far today, and we've got some amazing ones still to come. If anyone's got any questions for any of these speakers that we've heard from or that will be coming up later, then please leave them in the live chat, which is just next to the video player. Once those have been sent, the questions will get answered by our panel, which is behind the scenes. Also, as well, if you add the @ button onto whoever you are aiming the question to, you're more likely to get a quicker response, so please remember to do that. However, just before we go to our next live speaker, who is Becky Smith, who is from Guest Fitness, as she goes through hips and how to make sure that you do the correct hip movements when doing Pilates. We're going to be watching a quick video that's just all about staying safe on the railway for secondary schools. So let's take a look.
The railway keeps the country moving. It carries us to work and gets us to school, brings us together and takes us away. The railway's there for us, our families and our friends. And it's massive. 20,000 miles of track, 2,500 stations, 30,000 bridges and tunnels, moving 24,000 trains and millions of passenger journeys a day. And it's not just passengers. 400,000 tons of freight are moved across the UK by rail every 24 hours. Goods from food, phones, cars and containers, heading to all types of stores and supermarkets. Train travel is an efficient, environmentally friendly and safe way to get people and goods where they need to be. And we're always trying to make it safer. But that's not always a simple job. To start with, trains are fast and very, very heavy. They can't swerve or change course unexpectedly, and with so much momentum, a driver won't be able to stop in time if they spot danger ahead. It can take up to 2 kilometers to bring a train to a full stop. That's why we do everything we can to keep the railway safe. And that means keeping you away from the tracks. We want everyone home safe every day. Everyone who uses the railway, works on the railway, or lives by the railway deserves to be safe. But we can't do that all on our own. We need you to do your part, and you're about to find out how. Britain's rail network is a wonder of engineering, transporting millions of people every day, quickly, reliably, and safely. Network Rail uses cutting-edge technology and strict safety standards to make sure that rail is one of the safest possible modes of transport. This film's about how you can stay safe in the dangerous places where roads, rail, and footpaths meet. Level crossings. Years ago, when the rail network was first being built, engineers couldn't afford to build bridges and tunnels at every point where the railway crossed a road. So instead, they created level crossings, places that allowed people to cross the railway safely. We now have around 6,000 level crossings across the UK, and they come in all shapes and sizes, from footpaths across the railway to busy road crossings with hundreds of cars and pedestrians going through every hour. While no two crossings are ever the same, they do all have one thing in common. They are all potentially very dangerous places. So it's really important that you follow these key tips to keep you, your family and friends safe when using them. Firstly, and most importantly, be alert. It's really easy to get distracted, especially by phones and music. So take your headphones off, put your phone away, and stop, look, and listen. Never assume that the line is clear or that someone else is looking out for you. And always expect a train. In quieter areas, you may come across crossings with gates that you operate yourself, like this one. And if you see this sign by a gated crossing, it means that you need to check that the line is clear yourself before crossing. These crossings don't have alarms or warning lights to alert you of an approaching train, so take care, stop, look, and listen. Always look both ways before and immediately after opening the gates. Close the gates and cross. And if you're in a group, always make sure that there's enough room for you all to get across safely. If you've got a dog, always keep it on its lead. Its safety is your responsibility. Some crossings have warning lights and alarms. If they're sounding, don't cross. A train will be approaching at speed. And just because a train has passed doesn't mean it's safe to cross. Another one could be coming from either direction. Never cross until the lights stop flashing and the alarms stop. And drivers, if you're tempted to jump the lights or race around closing barriers, don't do it. You're putting other people's lives at risk, as well as your own. We're doing everything we can to make sure that level crossings are as safe as possible. But while there are still cyclists, drivers and pedestrians taking risks, there's always the chance that accidents will happen. And unfortunately, there are still hundreds of near misses, injuries and even fatalities every year because people are taking risks at level crossings every day, which is what we call deliberate misuse. Deliberately misusing level crossings is extremely dangerous for the people misusing them, for other users of the crossing, and for people on the train. Don't be part of the problem.
My name's Carol Burns. I'm a train driver for West Midlands Trains. I'm based at Bletchley Depot and I've been driving for approximately 20 years. It was my first day back after Christmas. It was a typical grey January morning. As I approached Marston Level Crossing, I saw a car on the crossing in front of me, and I remember I sounded the horn, I put the train into emergency, knowing that I wasn't going to stop, but just hoping that the car was going quick enough to get out of my way. As I got nearer to the crossing, the driver of the car looked up at me because by now my window was level with his driver's side window. And then the next thing I remember was the sound of breaking glass, and I knew that I'd hit the car. The emergency services arrived really quickly, and then the police came and spoke to me and told me that the driver hadn't made it, he'd been pronounced dead at the scene. You feel responsible because somebody's lost their life. Even though you're at no fault, you still feel responsible for somebody losing their life because life's precious. And it's just the most awful feeling. It had effects on my family, on my children, it had effects on my mental health. I had to have counselling, I couldn't work for 6 months. It's just the most awful thing in the whole world. You just can't imagine how bad it is. So just don't take any risks. Don't put yourself at risk, don't put your family in the position, or the driver or their families in this position, because nobody needs to suffer, and nobody needs to do that. The railways are a safe place if you follow the rules and don't take the chance.
Despite all the millions of miles travelled and passengers and freight transported, the railway creates only 1.5%, a tiny fraction of all UK transport emissions, and we're always looking to improve. Decades ago, we replaced steam trains with cleaner, more efficient diesel ones. And we're now looking to replace diesel trains as much as possible with cleaner and quieter electric trains. Railway electricity is delivered either by overhead lines, which suit high-speed trains, or by something we call the third rail, an extra rail to the side of the track which is used on some commuter routes. By using electricity, the railway's becoming more environmentally friendly. But there is a downside. Trains are, of course, very heavy. A passenger train can weigh 400 tons, the equivalent to 80 elephants. And to move something that heavy very quickly requires a lot of power. And that means a lot of electricity. Between 750 and 25,000 volts. That's 100 times more powerful than the electricity you get at home. And that much electricity can be very dangerous. Those who do survive coming into contact with railway electricity are left with life-changing injuries, including burns, amputations, and permanent scars, both physical and emotional. Electricity is one of the most dangerous factors when stepping onto the railway, and it's always on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even when there are no trains. Never underestimate how dangerous railway electricity is. And you don't need to touch anything to be electrocuted. At 25,000 volts, electricity can arc through the air like lightning and strike 3 meters from the overhead lines. It can also strike you through something you're holding, meaning balloons, kites, or fishing rods should never be allowed anywhere near the overhead line. The powered third rail is a danger that hides in plain sight. It appears to be an ordinary rail, but it carries 750 volts of electricity, and if you're unfortunate enough to touch one, the current has the power to hold you to the rail and inflict terrible injuries. Please don't take risks with rail electricity. Stay off the tracks, keep away from the cables, and whatever you do, stay safe.
Hello, I'm Neil Evans and I'm a response manager with the Mid and West Wales Fire and Rescue Service. I can't tell you enough about how dangerous railway electricity can be. As a fire and rescue service, we attend numerous calls and incidents on the rail where people have been injured or killed due to the electricity which is carried in the third rail and the overhead cables. Dealing with electrical burns is really nasty. They are basically, you end up with severe burns as if someone's been in a house fire and they've been severely burnt. You've got the site of the exit wounds from where the electricity exited the body, and if it's exited via your hand or your foot, then there's a possibility you've lost that hand or that foot. Then where if you've been gripping the electricity for a few minutes, then it will basically cook the person and cause burns internally and externally. So the sites we've got is a burnt person with clothing melting and the hair standing on end and smoking off. You've also got the sound of the crackling sound of the skin being cooked and the sound of the person screaming in severe pain. And on top of that, you can smell burnt flesh, and trust me, it's not a very nice smell at all, and it's not a very nice scenario for anyone to be in and for us to see and experience. My message is simple to anyone who thinks that it's a good laugh or they want to go on there because it's a shortcut onto any rail track, is tracks are for trains, not for people. So please, that's all I can say is tracks are for trains, as simple as that.
Railway lines are fenced off from the public with good reason. Inside the fence is an environment full of danger. High-power electric cables capable of delivering devastating injury, bridges and tunnels with no escape space for pedestrians, and the constant threat of sudden collision, with massively heavy, fast-moving trains operating day and night. It might appear that deserted railway locations like these are perfect for exploring or for taking a shortcut across the lines. But thinking these empty tracks are safe for you and your friends to cross or mess about on could be a fatal mistake, and here's why. Modern trains are extremely fast and so quiet they give you no time to react. At top speed, they can cover the length of a football pitch in less than 2 seconds. The only way to stay safe is to stay clear. Entering railway property or stepping onto the tracks without permission is trespassing. Trespassing is illegal, foolish, and very, very hazardous. By reducing delays, danger and damage to the railway, we can make sure everyone gets home safe, secure and on time. And that's why we have the British Transport Police.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm a police officer with the British Transport Police and I've been doing this job for about 3.5 years. The British Transport Police are basically a dedicated police force that focus on providing safe travel for railway passengers and also protecting the railway. Our network of uniformed police officers, plainclothes police officers and over 150,000 CCTV cameras are monitoring you 24/7 when you use the railway network. We are here to look out for you, but if you do commit an offence when you're on the railway, it will be monitored and will be seen. We will charge, we will convict for them if it's deemed appropriate, and getting a criminal record can be detrimental to your future. It can not only stop you from getting the job you want, it could restrict your travel to other countries. Places like America and Australia will not let you into their country if you have a criminal record. And really that's not something you want as a consequence of simple trespass or disruption on the railway. Over the past few months I've dealt with far too many deaths on the railway where a person has been killed when they've been struck by a train and they've been on the railway when they shouldn't be. The incident itself I am okay with dealing with. I can be a police officer at the time and deal with the incident on scene, but the hardest part of the job is going to a home of a relative, a mum, a dad, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, grandma, and telling them that their loved one has died and isn't coming home because they made the mistake and they've gone on the railway and as a consequence they're not coming home. My message is don't do it, don't go on the railway. It's incredibly dangerous, and even though I've talked about the effects of the criminal prosecutions and the effect it has on yourself, think about other people, think about your family and your friends that want you to survive, want you to live a life. There's no guarantee that you will come off those tracks if you go on them.
Mae'r reilffyrdd yn cadw'r wlad yn symud. Mae'n cludo i'r gwaith ac i'r ysgol, yn dod â ni at ein gilydd ac yn mynd â ni i ffwrdd. Mae'r reilffordd yno i ni, ein teuluoedd a'n ffrindiau. Ac mae'n enfawr. 20,000 o filltiroedd o draciau, 2,500 o orsafoedd, 30,000 o bontydd a thoneli, yn symud 24,000 o drenau a miliynau o deithwyr pob dydd. Ac nid teithiwr yn unig. Rydyn ni'n symud llawer iawn o nwyddau ar draws y Deyrnas Unedig ar y reilffordd pob 24 awr. Nwyddau fel bwyd, ffonau, ceir a chynwysion. Yn mynd i siopau ac archfarchnadoedd o bob math. Mae teithio ar y trên yn ffordd effeithlon, eco-gyfeillgar a diogel o fynd â phobl a nwyddau i le mae angen iddynt fod. Ac rydyn ni'n gwneud yn fwy diogel trwy'r amser, ond dyw hynny ddim yn syml pob tro. I ddechrau, mae trenau'n gyflym ac yn drwm iawn iawn. Allen nhw ddim symud na newid cyfeiriad yn gyflym, a gyda chymaint o fomentum, all gyrwyr ddim stopio mewn pryd os yn ydyn nhw'n gweld perygl o'i flaen. Mae'n cymryd hyd 20 cae pêl-droed i dren stopio'n llwyr. Felly, rydyn ni'n gwneud popeth a allwn i gadw'r reilffordd yn ddiogel. Ac mae hynny'n golygu eich cadw chi i ffwrdd o'r traciau. Rydyn ni eisiau pawb fynd adre yn ddiogel pob dydd. Pawb sy'n defnyddio reilffyrdd, yn gweithio ar y reilffyrdd, neu'n byw yn ymyl y reilffyrdd yn haeddu bod yn ddiogel.
Helo, fy enw I yw Jodie Donnelly. Dwi'n gyrru'r tren yn Caerdydd I Trefnidiaeth Cymru. Does neb yn mynd i'r gwaith I bwrw unrhyw un, I bwrw anifeil, I bwrw person. Ni'n mynd i'r gwaith I mynd â'r pobl o un lle i'r lle arall. I bod yn onest, mae yn rhywbeth, mae bron gyd o ni yn ofnus o. Y diwrnod yna, bydd rhywun ar y tracs a bydd hwnna fel, bydd ni'n bwrw nhw, bydd ni'n lladd nhw. Mae wir yn ofnus I ni. Mae pob drygyrwr yn meddwl amdano fe trwy'r dydd weithiau, neu'r cyn dod i'r gwaith, bod hwnna'r bydd y dydd, bydden nhw'n bwrw rhywun. Felly, os ni'n gweld rhywun ar y trac, ni'n sowndio'r hôn I trio cael nhw I symud, ond y peth yw, ble bynnag mae'r trac yn mynd, dyna'r ble mae'r tren yn mynd, ac hyd yn oed os ni'n rhoi'r brakes mewn yn llawn, mae'n gallu cymryd bron 2 kilometr i'r tren dod I stop llawn. Felly, os mae rhywun yn cael ei taro gan y tren, dwi ddim jyst yn effeithio nhw, mae rhaid I chi meddwl am eu teulu nhw, eu ffrindiau nhw, ond hefyd, bydd y gyrrwr yn mynd gatref gyda hwnna yn mynd trwy ei feddwl.
Mae rwydwaith reilffyrdd Prydain yn ryfeddod peiriannol, sy'n cludo miliynau o bobl pob dydd, yn gyflym, yn ddibynadwy ac yn ddiogel. Mae Network Rail yn defnyddio technoleg diweddaraf a safonau diogelwch llym I wneud yn siŵr mae reilffyrdd yw un o'r ffyrdd mwyaf diogel o deithio. Pwnc y ffilm hon yw sut y gallwch chi fod yn ddiogel, yn amannau peryglus lle mae ffyrdd, reilffyrdd a llwybrau'n cwrdd. Croesfannau gwastad. Blynyddoedd yn ôl pan adeiladwyd y rwydwaith reilffyrdd yn gyntaf, doedd peiriannwyr ddim yn gallu fforddio adeiladu pontydd a thwneli ym mhob man roedd y reilffordd yn croesi ffordd. Yn lle hynny, creuwyd groesfannau gwastad. Mannau oedd yn caniatáu I bobl groesi'r reilffordd yn ddiogel. Mae gennym rhyw 6,000 o groesfannau gwastad yn y Deyrnas Unedig o bob math, o lwybrau troed ar draws y reilffordd, I groesfannau ffordd prysur lle mae cannoedd o geir a cherwydd yn croesi pob awr. Bod pob croesfan yn gwahanol, mae ganddyn nhw I gyd un peth yn gyffredin. Gall pob un fod yn fan peryglus iawn. Felly, mae'n bwysig iawn I chi ddilyn yr awgrymiadau hyn i'ch cadw chi, eich teulu a'ch ffrindiau yn ddiogel wrth eu defnyddio. Yn gyntaf ac yn bwysicaf, byddwch yn effro. Mae'n hawdd I rywbeth yn eich sylw yn enwedig ffôn neu cerddoriaeth. Felly tynnwch eich ffonau clust allan, rhowch eich ffôn I ffwrdd a stopiwch, edrychwch a gwrandewch. Peidiwch byth a thybio bod y llinell yn glir neu fod rhywun arall yn cadw llygad ar eich rhan. Byddwch yn barod am drên pob amser. Mewn mannau tawelach, efallai y dewch o hyd I groesfannau a gatrau rydych chi ei hagor eich hun fel hon. Ac os gwelwch yr arwydd hwn ger groesfan a gat, mae'n golygu bod angen I chi wneud yn siŵr bod y llinell yn glir cyn croesi. Wrth y croesfannau hyn, does dim larwm na goleuadau rybuddio I ddweud bod tren yn dod. Felly cymerwch ofal, stopiwch, edrychwch a gwrandewch. Edrychwch ddwy ffordd cyn ac syth ar ôl agor y gatiau. Ceiwch y gatiau a chroeswch. Os ydych chi mewn grŵp, sicrhewch fod digon o le I bawb groesi'n ddiogel. Os oes gennych chi, rhaid ei gadw ar denyn pob amser. Chi sy'n gyfrifol am ei gadw'n ddiogel. Mae gan rai croesfannau oleuadau rybuddio a larwm. Os ydyn nhw'n seinio, peidiwch â chroesi. Mae tren yn dod yn gyflym. Ac os yw'r tren wedi mynd heibio, dyw I ddim yn golygu ei bod hi'n ddiogel I groesi. Gallai tren arall fod yn dod o'r naill gyfeiriad yn y llall. Peidiwch byth â chroesi nes bod y goleuadau'n stopio fflachio a'r larwm yn stopio. A gyrwyr, peidiwch â chael eu temptio I anwybyddu'r goleuadau neu rasio trwy rwystrau sy'n cau. Rydych chi'n peryglu bywydau pobl arall yn ogystal â'ch bywyd chi. Rydyn ni'n gwneud popeth a allwn ni sicrhau bod croesfannau gwastad mor ddiogel a phosibl, ond os yw seiclwyr, gyrwyr a cherwyr yn parhau I gymryd risgiau, mae yna siawns y bydd damweiniau'n digwydd o hyd. Yn anffodus, mae cannoedd o fethiannau agos ac anafiadau o hyd pob blwyddyn, a hyd yn oed rai marwolaethau, oherwydd bod pobl yn cymryd risgau ar croesfannau gwastad pob dydd. Cam ddefnyddio bwriadol yw hwn. Mae cam ddefnyddio croesfannau gwastad yn fwriadol yn beryglus iawn i rai sy'n cam ddefnyddio i'r ddefnyddwyr eraill y croesfan ac i'r bobl ar y trên. Peidiwch a bod yn rhan o'r broblem. Gweithio'r mileniau filltiroedd a deithiwyd, a'r teithwyr a nwyddiau gludwyd, dim ond 1.5% o holl allyriadau trafnidiaeth y Deyrnas Unedig a ddaw o reilffyrdd. Ac rydym ni'n ceisio gwella o hyd. Degawdau yn ôl, newidion ni trenau stem am rai diesel galanach a mwy effeithlon. Nawr rydym ni'n ceisio newid trenau diesel cymaint â sy'n bosibl, am rai trydan galanach a thawelach. Caf trydan yr reilffyrdd ei gyflwynu naill ai trwy'r wefrau uwchben sy'n addas i drenau cyflym iawn, neu trwy trydydd gledren ychwanegol wrth ochr y trac a defnyddir ar rai llwybrau cymudwyr. Trwy defnyddio trydan, mae reilffordd yn dod yn fwy eco-gyfeillgar, ond mae yna ochr negyddol. Mae trenau'n drwm iawn wrth gwrs. Gall tren teithwyr bwyso 400 tunnell, yr un peth ag 80 o eliffantod. Mwyn symud rhywbeth mor drwm a hynny'n gyflym iawn, mae angen llawer o bŵer, sy'n golygu llawer o drydan. Rhwng 750 i 25,000 o foltiau. Mae hynny 100 gwaith yn fwy pwerus na'r trydan yn eich cartref. Gall cymaint o hynny o drydan fod yn beryglus iawn. Mae rai sydd yn goroesi i ddod i gysylltiad â thrydan y reilffordd yn cael anafiadau sy'n newid bywyd, gan gynnwys llosgiadau, torri rannau o'r corff i ffwrdd a chreithiau parhaol, rai corfforol ac emosiynol. Trydan yw'r un o'r ffactorau mwyaf peryglus wrth gamu ar y reilffordd, ac mae'n llifo bob amser, dydd a nos, 7 diwrnod yr wythnos, hyd yn oed pan na fydd trenau'n redeg. Paid byth â thancamgyfrif pa mor beryglus yw trydan ar y reilffordd. Does dim rhaid i chi gyffwrdd ag unrhyw beth i gael ei trydanu. Gall 25,000 o foltiau o drydan arcio trwy'r awyr fel mellten, a thora rhywbeth 3 metr i ffwrdd o'r gwefrau uwchben. Gall eich taro hefyd drwy rhywbeth yn eich llaw. Felly, ni ddylai balwn, barcud neu gwialen bisgota byth fod yn agos i'r gwefrau uwchben. Mae drydedd gledren a phŵer yn berygl cudd sy'n ei gweld yn glir. Mae'n edrych fel cledran arferol, ond yn cario 750 o foltiau o drydan. Os ydych chi'n ddigon anffodus i gyffwrdd ag un, gall y cerrynt eich dal i'r gledran ac achosi anafiadau ofnadwy. Peidiwch â chymryd risgau gyda thrydan y reilffyrdd. Aroswch i ffwrdd o'r traciau, cadwch i ffwrdd o'r ceblau, a beth bynnag rydych chi'n neud, aroswch yn ddiogel.
Helo, enw fi yw Neil Evans, fi'n swyddog tân efo Gwasanaeth Tân ac Achub Canolbarth a Gorllewin Cymru. Yr effaith a difrod ar bobl sydd yn mynd ar y rheilffyrdd a sy'n cyffwrdd y trydan yn eithriafol o ddrwg. Mae'n gallu rhoi anafiadydd nhw fydd y dyn nhw am gweddill i oes, a mae hefyd yn gallu lladd nhw. Amser chi'n cyffwrdd y trydan, mae trydan yn trial ffeindio ffordd allan i beth yn galw i'r ddaear, a mae hwnny'n gallu fod fel rheol eich llawn eich trod, ta beth sy'n cyffwrdd â ddaear, a mae hynny'n gallu meddwl bod chi'n colli eich llaw, colli eich trod, a beth ni'n clywed wedyn yw beth ni'n galw, mae fe'n craclan, chi'n clywed y crôn yn coginio craclan, chi'n clywed y sŵna, a hefyd ni'n aroglu y corff yn llosgi a cael ei coginio. As na beth sy'n digwydd, mae gymaint o pŵer yn trwyddo, mae gymaint o gres yn y corff, a ni'n clywed wedyn, mae person dal yn fyw, maen nhw'n gwychel y sgrechen, a ni'n goffod clywed hwnna fed. A mae fe'n eithriadol o boenus ar y person. Neges i unrhyw un sy'n meddwl bod e'n bach o sport i mynd ar y trac, neu mynd ar y trac achos bod e'n ffordd haws i cyrraedd le maen nhw moyn mynd a cerdded, yw mae'r tracs i trenau dim i bobl. Mae llwybrau a heolydd a bontydd i gael i bobl. Felly cadwch bant, pidwch boddran, achos os chi'n parchu eich bywyd, chi'n parchu bywyd eich teulu a beth maen nhw'n meddwl, cadw'ch bant wrtho fe, achos yr effaith o unrhyw un sy'n cael ei nafu neu cael ei ladd trwy mynd ar y rheilffyrdd, mae'n effaith ar y teulu, a mae'n effaith arno ni, a mae'n effaith ar teulu ni, o achos be ni'n gweld.
Mae reswm da dros godi ffensys i gadw'r cyhoedd draw o reilffyrdd. Y tu hwnt i'r ffens mae yna amgylchedd llawn perygl. Ceblai trydan pŵer uchel sy'n gallu achosi anafiadau trychu nebys. Pont i ddath o Nelly heb le i gerfydd ddianc. A bygythiad parhaus gwrdrawiad sydyn? Gyda threnau cyflym tros ben sy'n redeg dydd a nos. Gall leoliadau ar y reilffyrdd fer y rhain edrych yn wych ar gyfer crwydro neu fynd y ffordd fer ar draws y reilffordd. Ond gallai meddwl bod y traciau gwag lle ddiogel i chi a'ch ffrindiau croesi neu chwarae fod yn gamgymeriad anheuol. A dyma pam. Mae trenau modern yn gyflym iawn ac mor dawel does dim amser i ymateb. Ar y cyflymaf, gallaf symud hyd cae pêl-droed mewn llai na 2 eiliad. Yr unig ffordd i gadw'n ddiogel yw cadw draw. Mynd ar eiddo reilffyrdd neu fynd ar y traciau heb ganiatad yw tresmasu. Mae tresmasu'n anghyfreithlon, yn ffôl, ac yn beryglus iawn iawn. Trwy leihau achosion o oedi, perygl a difrod i'r reilffordd, gall yn sicrhau y bydd pawb yn mynd adref yn ddiogel ac ar amser. A dyna pam mae gennym ni'r heddlu trafnidiaeth Prydeinig.
Helo, fe enw i yw Simon. Dwi'n gweithio fel ringill i heddlu trafnidiaeth Prydeinig a dwi'n gweithio yn Caerdydd. Mae heddlu trafnidiaeth Prydeinig yn plismo na 6 miliwn o deithiau pob dydd. Mae ganddyn ni swyddogion yn gwisg a yn gwisg plaen a hefyd 150,000 o camerâu sy'n monitro pawb 24 awr y diwrnod, pob diwrnod y mlwyddyn. Os ych chi yn gwneud rhywbeth drwg ar y reilffyrdd, byddwn ni yn edrych mewn i'r trais a hefyd byddwn ni yn cyhuddo pawb sy'n gwneud rhywbeth drwg ar y reilffordd. Os byddwch chi yn cael cyhuddiad, all cyhuddiad ymharu ar y ffaith bod chi moyn trafeilu tramor yn enwedig i gwledydd fel America a Awstralia. Y rhan fwyaf anodd o'r swydd yw gorfod mynd i digwyddiadau lle mae pobl wedi cael eu taro gan tren ac yn anffodus mae rai yn marw. Mae'n anodd, mae'n rhan o swydd, mae'n rhywbeth dwi'n gallu delio gyda ar y pryd, ond ar ôl hynny mae rhaid dweud wrth y teulu a mae hwnna'n anodd gorfod dweud wrth mam, dad, brawd neu chwaer bod rhywun maen nhw'n caru wedi marw ar y reilffordd yn anodd iawn i'w wneud. Fy neges i yw peidiwch byth am mynd ar y cledrau. Mae'n lle llawer rhy peryglus. Byddwn ni'n adnog chi cadw draw, cadwch yn saff ac yn ddiogel. Mae bywyd yn rhy gwerthfawr a peidiwch byth a thresmasu.
Hello everyone and welcome back. So thank you so much again to all of our speakers today that we have heard from so far. If you have any questions for anybody that is on the chat today, from any of the speakers to the people from Rail Safety Week, then please leave them in the live chat which is just next to the video player. Once those have been sent, the panel will get back to you as soon as possible. Now, we have a very special guest with us today. We are joined by Becky and Simon Guest, who are going to be doing a hip Pilates class with us today. So, hello Becky and Simon, how are you?
Hi, thank you.
Very good. So now I'm going to hand over to yourself, Becky, as you take on the rest of today's session.
Hi guys, and welcome to your 30-minute Pilates session. Just to let you know that this session is not suitable for pregnancy, and if you have any existing medical condition, you need to seek clearance before taking part. We are going to do Pilates with high intensity, so a little bit more on repetitions, and we're going to play music. Bring yourself down to a mat, making sure that you're not too close to anybody else. I'm warming up to start. Let yourself down on your back. So the side is going to demonstrate for us. Bring your fingers to your temples and keep your feet down and start to crunch up and lower. It's just to prepare your body for the session. Keep the feet down. Focus on breathing in between each breath. Now, keep your head down. You're going to keep your legs fixed at 90 and bring your legs up. You're going to lift and lower. Get ready to combine that together. So feet down. Get ready to lift both at the same time. Lift and lower. Breathe in between each repetition. 3, 2, 1. Head down. Now we'll feet down, arms down by your side. Make sure your heels are underneath your knees in the little bottom of the floor. Hip bridge. So you get that flow all the way down to the mat. It's going to warm your glutes and it's going to warm your legs as well. Bottom down. Lift the shoulders and the arms. And then your feet back down. Triple, up. 3, 2, 1. Head. Again. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Stop there. Roll onto your front now. So we're going to warm through the shoulders a little bit more. You're going to go into a forearm plank. And then bring one knee down, just one knee. Then up, then lower the other. And up. So find a little bit more. 1 and 2. 4. 4. 3, 2, 1. Knees down. Just going to stretch out the lower back. And then when you're ready, find side plank. Again, warm through the shoulders. Downward facing dog, bend the knees. And then lower down. Okay guys, so we're coming into the main session, and the main session is going to consist of 3 lots of 30. Exercise 1 for 30 seconds, exercise 2 for 30 seconds, and then we'll go to the first one. So first one is crunches. Level 1 crunches, you keep your feet down and just lift through the upper body. Level 2 crunches is what we did in the warm-up, where both come together. Off we go, 30 seconds. So crunches, fingers to temples, elbows back, sliding your wrists towards your hips. Into the main section now, and you're already halfway through your first exercise. 10 more seconds. So you want to make sure that you're breathing in between every phase of your repetition. 3, 2, 1. Stop there. Roll over and get yourself into a forearm plank. If a forearm plank with your knees off is too hard, keep your knees there, otherwise the foot into a plank. Level the body, and you're going to tap one foot out to the side at a time. Okay, exercise 2. Off we go. If it's too wild though, just small taps will suffice to keep your abs switched on. Think about keeping your shoulders in line with your elbows and your armpits forward rather than your shins going under. You're already halfway through your exercise.
Anybody who feels discomfort in the lower back, you just stay on your knees and hold a forearm plank on the knees. 4 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. Stop there. Roll back over. We go back to exercise 1, which is crunches, finger to temples, open across the chest. Off you go. Single crunches. Breathing in between your repetitions. Good work. Get down. Before we go on to our second round. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Protecting your knees into the chest. You can have a little bit of force in between rounds 1, 2. Not advised with lots of force during exercise. So round 2, start half pulses. Bring your feet down. Let your arms lift up.
That's your exercise 2. You can always do 5 or 10 repetitions and come back down. Off you go, Sam. So staying up here for 30 seconds might stress your neck and shoulders. So then you can just do 5 to 10 reps and come back down and then come back up. So you want to be sliding your ribs towards your hips when you do your core exercises. Making sure you're breathing as well. 3, 2, 1, head down. Next exercise, working your obliques opposite knee to elbow. Finger to temples, you can go easy with a toe tap down. Yeah. Or you go to full extension, which is a little bit harder. There's no rushing for this. Off you go, exercise 2. Opposite knee to elbow. Taking that toe tap if you need it a little bit easier. And notice how that rotation is there inside the trunk. Take the time to twist the body. Often people doing from side to side and you might get sort of that. Yeah, it's like 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Well done. Okay, you can go back to the first exercise, which is top half pulses. 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Halfway. Sit on your breath as well. Keep your voice in.
seconds, lower back extension. So your lower back makes up part of your core. So when we strengthen our core, you need to be ensuring that you train your lower back as well. So easier options is just to keep your reps lower. That's how you make it more manageable. If you want to make it more challenging, you can stretch your arms out in front of you. If you've got existing conditions in the lower back, you wouldn't take progression up to that. You can even put feet off the floor as well. And stop there. Well done. Now, we're going to go onto your back. So it's a stretch one now, reverse crunch. Flat your hands down, and if you feel like it's been more up.
Yes. And then keep the head and shoulders down, legs up, and you're sending the legs upwards, lifting your bottom, and then bringing the feet down. So that's your reverse crunch. So having those hands under your lower back will make it more manageable. If you want more challenge, you can take the hands out. You are halfway through this one. If anyone wants an extra bit of work, not recommended if you've got lower back issues, you can do your reverse crunch with a leg swing forward as well. That's your legs too. 3, 2, 1. Get ready for your lower back extension. Roll back onto your foot. Maybe this is helpful. Check if the feet are not too wide. 3, 2, 1. Lower back extension. Squeeze those glutes. In through your chest. Progression if you want it. You're halfway through your lower back extension. If you want a little bit more, stretch those arms out in front of you too. Good. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Stop there. Okay, roll back over. Stopping for drink on the way if you need it. Hug your knees into the chest once you come down, and then just roll left and right and get a nice little release for your lower back as well. Good. Find that release in the lower back. You're excited? Good. So we're doing leg raises now. So if you feel easy, keep your legs nice and secure. Just like in the wall. If you want more challenge, let's start off.
Advise anyone forcing their heels all the way down to the mat, especially if you've never done it before, off you go, Sam, because it might pull your lower back. So go slow. Another way to make it easier, start at the top of both legs, like just lower one leg. One and lift. So this is a much easier way to execute leg raises where you've got more control of your lower back. You want to keep your core sharp. And stop there. Well done. Take your next one. Sit out.
So lifting your head and shoulders off the floor as well, and then you're going to take your legs out as well as your arms back. Stretch your legs out if you want to. Yeah, so these are called kick out. You can always do this without legs, so you can keep the legs in. Just focus on your upper body, and then you've got the leverage of your arms, increasing the intensity. Three, 2, 1. Well done. Okay, that's the first one. Leg raises. You can do the single leg raises or both of them.
Or you can even place your hands under your lower back as well for this one. That's it. You've got 20 more seconds. Five more seconds. 2, 1. Okay. Put the knees into the chest.
Round 5. We're going to be hip bridge. So place your feet down, have your hands down by your side, palms facing down. So this is really going to target your core and your leg muscles as well. I want you to keep your head and shoulders down. There shouldn't be anything under your head. Lift up high, but before you start, walk your shoulder blades in and get your chest a bit higher. Okay, lift up high. Lift halfway down. Squeeze up, halfway down.
With the knees. Good. A little bit more high. Halfway through these. Hip bridges. It's going to work your glutes. It's going to work your quads. You'll get something in the hamstring. But if you're keeping your core engaged, that's where you're going to get the benefit of this core strengthening class. Stop there. Roll over. Tricep press up, which is quite good for the shoulders. You make sure core.
You want to keep your elbows coming behind you. Good. So tricep press. You might not get the range as deep as that, but even if you're going a little bit, it's going to require core strength to get there. It's a lot harder than a wide grip press. It takes a lot more control. It works for your shoulders a lot as well. Good.
3, 2, 1. Hip bridge. Get ready. Plant the feet down. Have the arms out. Walk your shoulder blades in. Okay. Squeeze up high. Up, halfway down. Up, halfway down. Keep going. Up, halfway down.
We've had a million nights just like this.
Go a little bit higher.
So let's get down, let's
Keep
get
the
down
core
to business.
switched on.
Mama, please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak.
Okay, stop there.
Friends keep telling
Round
me to
6. Strong in the shoulders, but it's going to require core stability to get there. So coming into a high plank.
let's get down.
In your high plank, you want to ensure the heels of your hands in
It's a bit like a half press. Lift back up. Now we're going to, without rocking our body, do the shoulder tap. Extra point if you can keep to the tempo, keep your hips back on it. That way you're going to switch on the core and use your legs. You're halfway through this one. Keep it on the knees as well. Back.
whole body this exercise. Your legs are working, your core's working, and it's strengthening your upper body. 3, 2, 1. Okay, stop there. On your back, so you've got the choice of crunches. If you're very new to exercises or you've got any issues with your neck, you wouldn't do a sit-up here. So you can do a roll up, exhale to come up, arms go along the ears when you're up,
To do this, it is quite difficult because if you you can also do crunches. Yeah, perfect. Inhale to slow down. Exhale to slow down. Exhale to slow down. Okay, stop there. Rolling into your high plank, guys. High.
Otherwise, it's not safe for the shoulders. Shoulder tap, shoulder tap. Good. Don't rush it. I'd rather you kept both feet grounded. Bring your shoulders a bit further forward, side. Yeah. You can do this on your knees, or even if you've had enough, you can just hold a plank. Good. Press those feet into the mat.
One, stop there. Okay, have a little drink. Lie on your back if you want to and hook your knees into your chest. So we're going to go through all 6 rounds again, but you're not going to do 3 exercises, you'll just do 1 of each and then move along. So rather than do exercise 1, exercise 2, exercise 1, we're going to do 1 of each, 30 on each. We're going to keep them the same exercise. If you want to make it more challenging, you can have your legs at 90 degrees. Good. Keep those arms active and long right through to the fingertips. 3, 2, 1. Head down. Prepare. And you can make this more challenging by going for a leg extension. But if you're feeling like your core is fatigued, then take progression. Form over speed. Form over ego as well. 2, 1. Rolling over onto your front. Lower back extension. When you're ready, this is 21, so watch time and it's first. Go hands wide, palms down, or hands on your lower back. Good. So when the split of your tailbone is the working, so reverse crunch. Squeeze the legs out. However, if you've got issues with your lower back, you absolutely need to go to the out. make these less stressful on the lower back by doing a simple leg. Just not going as far down. Lift up all the way down. You want to think about safety and beginners should probably need to go all the way through. Anybody who wants a bit more? It is a hard exercise, this one. That's how you'll get stronger. And stop. Perfectly done. Roll over. So it's that roll up. If you want to do it, you maybe put this sorted now. The punches will look like nearly done now. You've got one more after this, and then a few stretches to finish. I hope you've enjoyed your session. Keep it up for the last minute. Focus on your breath. And stop there. Last one. Roll over. High climb. And if you tap, or you can just hold still if you feel like that. About 4 stretches here now. Well done, everyone. Take your heart. First stretch. Twelve goes first. So right feet together. Send your hips
So when you're in downward facing dog, you want your hands shoulder distance, suck your navel right towards your spine, and it'll send your tailbone higher. Our final stretch, which will be child's pose again. Try widening. Sink your head down. If you want more stretch for the upper body, go further forward with the fingers. If you want less, pull the elbows down. Try and make your forehead on the mat rather than frown. That's it. Thanks, Jen. Over to you. Thanks so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for showing us those exercises and for just going through those. And thank you so much, Simon, as well, for your help today. If anyone's got any questions about any of those poses and what the correct one is to do for a certain time, I've seen a couple of questions come through about the best time for those. So I'm sure someone from behind the scenes will answer some of those questions for you. But keep those questions coming and the experts will get back to you as soon as possible. Please also remember that we have some resources available on the page, so look below there as well if you need any of those. And if you missed any of the experts today, then we have those videos as well accessed down below. But unfortunately, that is all from us. If you would like to have a look further about any of the issues that we looked at, we do have as well at 4 o'clock there is a trespass broadcast that is on a separate website, which is www.youngrailpro.com/events/event details.aspx !ID equals 1530023. We'll also pop that very long web link into the chat facility for you to have a look at. This leads to a broadcast which is all around Beyond the Delay Minutes, which is being shown by Mike Roberts. And this is about exploring the wider cost of trespass with the young rail professionals. So please take a look at that at 4 o'clock. But that nicely leads us on to tomorrow's theme, as that looks at well-being, as we have Well-being Wednesday. So join us at the same time at 9 o'clock, where we'll be looking at this incredibly important theme, and we'll be joined live again by Tracy, plus also some special guests as well, such as Jeanette Jackson from Drop Zone Diet and also Russell Bradshaw as well. So please remember, stay safe and stay connected.
Welcome to this live chat facility tutorial. We have had a lot of questions recently about the chat facility and how to use it, so let's get into the video. The chat facility is built with students in mind, with a tool that doesn't need to be parent or teacher led. Each of our pages are linked to the person behind the broadcast, even after it's finished, so you can always ask your questions and get a response about the broadcast. So, let's have a look at how to use the chat facility. To use the chat facility, the first thing to do is to type your comment or question into the chat box. You can now enter your screen name. Your screen name will show when you type your question or comment. Now you will see the chat facility ask for your email address. As I mentioned before, each of our pages are linked to people from the organisation who can reply to your questions. You can enter your email address, which will not be shared with anyone, to get a direct response from the people behind the broadcast. If you do not want a direct response, then click the button at the bottom. People behind the broadcast can still respond to you if you don't provide your email address. This just means you may have to come back to the page to check the response. To type your question, simply click on the chat box. You will then see two symbols appear. The @ symbol will mean your comment or question will be posted publicly for others to see. The email symbol means your comment or question can be sent directly to the person of your choice from the list that will appear. You can now speak to the people behind the broadcast and ask any questions you may have, or check out our partner pages to see the companies we work with who you can speak to right now about their current vacancies. You can also check out our careers page, which connects you to employers. Our live chat service is linked 24/7 to employers from a wide range of sectors, all waiting to hear from you. You can leave a question about how to produce a professional CV or how to prepare for interviews, anything work related, and one of our businesses will respond to you directly. You can also access a wide variety of live interactive broadcasts and video on demand with the live chat support on all pages. Now, this bit is for the parents, guardians, and teachers. The best bit about the live chat facility is that it is completely moderated, so you don't need to worry if your young person leaves a silly comment, as it will only show on their screen and no one else's. Another great thing about the chat facility is that it is GDPR protected, so no information is shared with anyone else. We will protect all email addresses and will never share personal information of the young people. If you have any questions about the chat facility or the Learn Live channel, please use the email us icon at the top of the page. Thank you, stay safe and stay tuned.